All right, welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about some functions from the string.h library. So the functions we're going to talk about are string length, strlen, and this function is going to return the location of the null character, or in other words, the number of characters that are in your string. The next function is strncpy, and this function is used to copy one string to another. And the next function is strcat, strcat. This function is used to append one string onto the end of another string. And then we have strncpy. And this function is used to compare two strings to see if they are equal, if they are the same. Now keep in mind that when you're dealing with strings, a capital A and a lowercase a are not the same letters, so you have to, they all have to be of the same case. Now all of these are going to work based on the location of the null character. So if you have a string H, E, L, L, O, in order for these functions, string length, string copy, strcat, and strncpy to work, there must be a null character. Well, not really string copy, but for strcat, strncpy, and string length, so not string copy. For string length, strcat, and strncpy, they all base on the null character. String length is going to return the location of the null character. Strcat is going to append one word onto the other word. So if you have the word hot, H-O-T, with a null character at the end, and then you have another one called dog, and I'm going to do more examples in a second. I'm just explaining that strcat is going to concatenate this. You need the null character. It's going to start at the null character of the source of the destination and copy the source, starting at the null character, and then at the end it will put the null character at the end. So strcat is used to append one string onto the end of another string. Strncpy is going to compare two strings character by character, like character by character by character, up to the null character, or whichever null character comes across first, and will return a 0 if they are the same. All right, so in addition to these functions, there are a few more. There are strncopy, and strncopy will copy one string to another, but only a certain number of characters. I'm going to do examples in just a second, but of characters. Strcat will append string strncat, will also append, but only a certain number of characters. And there's also a function strncpy, and strncpy is going to also compare, but you're going to tell it how many characters. So these are the focus of, there are a lot of other functions in string.h, but these are the focus for this class of the functions that we're going to work with. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to start by declaring some words. So I'm going to have char word size 20 equals skate. Now in the last video I talked about uppercase and lowercase and all of that. So in this I'm just going to talk about the string member functions. In order to use the string member functions, you need to have a string.h included in your program. All right, and I'm not sure if skimboard is but we will stick with skim as well. All right, so I have some character arrays, so let's draw some pictures here of my character arrays. So I have here, and I made a mistake here because they all have the same name. So I'm going to change this to word 1 and this to word 2. So I have word 1, and word 2. So this word is a pointer to the beginning of my character array. And just to make it cleaner, we do know that each one of these characters has single quotations, but I'm just going to put the letters without the single quotations just to make it easier to read. And I have word 1. This word is board. And I have word 2, and this word is skin. And of course they go on, and anyway. All right, so this is going to be word at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 is going to be the location of the null character. That's the number of letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Board 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And skim 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And skim, of course, has 4 letters. All right, so we already talked about length, so I could go int length equals and pass it any of these, and there it's going to return, string length is going to return the location of the null character. So if I passed it word, it would return a 5. If I passed it word 1, it would return a 5. And if I passed it word 2, it would return a 4. Now let's see how string compare works. So string compare, I could say if string compare strncpy, and I could compare word and word 2 equals 0. So this is the easiest way to explain how it works. String compare is going to return a 0 if they match. So it's going to compare the letters S to S, K to K, A to I, and immediately they're not going to match, so it's not going to return a 0. But if I did if strn compare, and I passed it word and word 2, and I said how many letters I wanted to compare. For example, I want to compare 2 letters. Then what's going to happen? It will compare S to S, S to S, K to K. Those are 2 characters. I'm telling it right here only to compare 2 characters. So yes, this condition would be true, and it would return a 0. So string compare is used to compare 2 strings to see if they match. All right, now let's talk about string cat. So I can go strcat. This will append one string onto another. So the first argument is the destination. So I want to append onto the word skate, which the character array is called word. I want to append word 1. So before the string cat function, it takes 2 arguments, 2 character arguments. This is the destination, and this is the source. So it goes this way. All right, so it's just like saying word equals word plus word 1. And when you get to C++, you can do that, but in C, you cannot do that, so do not do that in this class. In order to append one string onto the end of another, you need to use the string cat function. So the way that you do that, what would happen after this executes, it's going to modify, the one that's going to get modified is the destination. This one is going to remain the same. So it's going to take starting from the null character and put B, O, A, R, D, null character. So of course you have to make sure that your word is large enough for all of those letters. And this would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So skateboard should have 10 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then if I said, I'm going to erase that because you're not allowed to do that. Length equals string length of word, it will no longer be 5, it will now be 10. When before I did the concatenation, it was 5. All right, then one more function I'm going to show you right now is strncat. So strncat also has the destination and the source. You just say how many characters you want to. So I want to concatenate onto the end of word 1 from word 2, 3 letters, just to say, okay? So after this strncat, it has a third argument. Again, it's the same direction. This is the destination and this is the source. So the source will not be modified. It will stay the same. Word 2 will stay the same, but the destination is going to change. It's going to need to find that null character, and then it's going to take 3 characters, S, K, and I, and then put the null character at the end. So now word 1 has been modified. Word 1 is now boardski, and word 2 remains the same because that was the source. So we've done string cat, string strncat, string compare, strncompare, and string length. The next thing we need to do is string copy. So let's start with some character arrays. So I have char word size 20, and then I have int length, and then I have char word 2 size 20 equals skate. All right, so here I've declared a few arrays. All right, so what happens with string copy? String copy works as follows. Now, what if all of a sudden I decided, oh, I didn't initialize word, so I want word to equal board. Well, in the language C++, you can do that, but in the language C, you cannot do that. Yes, it's okay to do it at declaration and initialization, but you cannot later assign a string to a character array later on in the program. So the way that you would do that, you need to use string copy. strncpy into your destination, which is word, the word board. I know it seems like a big deal, but it's really not, and that is C standard. This is the destination, this is the source. This is the same thing as saying word equals board. You just need to use a string copy function. You can also string copy from one string into another. So I could have char word 3, and I could do string copy into word 3 word. So that's also possible. So my source is word, and after this executes, both word and word 3 will be board, and word 2 will still be skate because I haven't done anything with it. All right, string copy is always going to start at the beginning of the character array, no matter what is in it, and string cat is going to start at the null character. So that's the difference. String cat appends It finds the null character and it starts adding characters onto where the null character is. String copy starts at the beginning. Now the only other one is strncpy. So I can strncpy into word 3, the word happy, and I only want to copy 3 characters. And something to remember about strncpy, that it does not add the null character. All right, so let's just draw really little pictures over here of what is going on with each one of these statements. So I don't have a lot of space here, but I'm going to try to draw. So I have a character array here called word3, and I have a character array here called word, and I have another character array called word2. Now word2 has the letters S, K, A, T, E, null character. Okay, now I'm going to string copy into Word the letters B-O-A-R-D. So this is my character array Word. I'm going to copy. Remember that string copy always starts at the beginning. It doesn't matter if you have a word in there or you don't have a word in there. It's going to start at the beginning. So I'm going to string copy the word board into my word with the null character. Now I'm going to string copy into word3 what is in word. So word3 will now be board with the null character. And now I'm going to strncpy the word into word3. This is my destination. The destination is always first. This is my source, happy, but I only want to take the first 3 characters, H-A-P. So what's going to happen is with string copy, it's going to start at the beginning, and it's going to put in the letters, the first 3 letters of happy. So it's going to put in H-A-P. Now right here is the end of what I copied in there, but it does not put the null character. So if I wanted this word to have just those 3 letters and end there, I would have to put the null character there. How would I put the null character there directly? Well, I could put the null character right here directly by saying word 3 at index 3 equals null character. You can go to any character within your arrays because they are characters and assign them. So I can say word3, that this is the array, at index 3 and put the null character there. So now you would say, oh, well, there's 2 null characters in this string. Yes, but most of the string member functions are going to operate on the first null character, when it finds the first null character. All right, so that's an overview of the string member functions. I strongly suggest that you draw pictures, that you practice, that you take the code examples off of Canvas and you put them in your compiler and you draw pictures of what's going on with those code examples, because that's really the best way for you to understand how character arrays and strings work.